I also was just recently contacted by someone who wanted me to essentially represent them in the sale of one of the Diddy tapes.
Say what now? Not Diddy's new essay accuser exposing Beyonce and Diddy for having something going on. Things are not looking too good for our girl Beyonce, because ever since the Diddy drama went down, her name just keeps getting dragged. Mind you, there's no evidence of any sort against Beyonce. But just because her husband Yace has a close friendship with Diddy, everybody on the internet is speculating that Beyonce definitely knows something. As if that ain't bad enough, people are saying that the tape that the lawyer is talking about of Beyonce and Diddy is being auctioned in the industry to a whole lot of media publications, and they've already been offering millions to get it, with the highest bidder currently being TMZ. This tape is reportedly going to drop any moment now, and it's going to be a whap for every celebrity who is getting oiled up and drilled by Diddy at them parties. In fact, the first batch of photos from one of these freak-offs leaked a few days ago and showed several celebrities, with some people freaking off. The first was this photo of Diddy pouring champagne on these two as they were touching themselves for his satisfaction. There's also this photo of one of Diddy's friends in the pool with two escorts, while he was sucking on their tatas and doing other very intimate things with them. There were also photos of some very well-known celebrities who was at that party, including Kim Kardashian, Paris Hilton, Chris Brown, Leonardo DiCaprio, the later, the Franklin Obama, Trump, Harry. The list just goes on. These photos sent the internet into a frenzy. But it's really nothing compared to the alleged footage of Diddy and Beyonce that's about to be sold and released to the public. These rumors started a few days ago when an attorney who goes by the name of Ariel Mitchell Kidd appeared in an interview and revealed some disturbing information about a new client she's currently representing, who is also suing Diddy for SAW. She didn't disclose the name of this client, but according to the client, they met Diddy back in 2018 at her friend's house, and after sipping on a few drinks that had been secretly spiked by Diddy, she started feeling woozy and eventually fell unconscious. Diddy then saw her with an inanimate object, and then directed another man who he was with to also saw and pleasure himself. The saddest thing is, it wasn't just Diddy and this other man who were in the room during this essay. His assistant Christina Kiram, who Diddy usually calls his right hand, was also in the room. And according to this client, Diddy and Christina were discussing sex.
She called me and told me a very horrific story about her and her escape from the. She told me that she was at a friend's house who had industry ties and was on the phone with Diddy, and he decided to come to the house. And when he came to the house, everything was fine, that there was another woman there who we've determined to be Christina Kiram, KK, who Diddy talks about a lot as his right-hand woman, if you will, and that they were discussing her, and then that led to her being served a drink where then she started to feel woozy, and then Mr. Combs her with an inanimate object, and then actually directed another gentleman to her while he watched and pleasured himself. So she was able to escape eventually and ran out into the streets yelling and screaming, and a neighbor heard her, because this happened in a quiet suburban neighborhood, if you will.
So there's a witness?
Yes, we have a witness. We also have a police report. As she's running out the house yelling, a neighbor saw her and invited her into the home.
Okay.
And it's the neighbor who then called the police, and the police did come out at that time. They also stated that they heard cars screeching, and the neighbor went outside and saw a black SUV leaving the premises very quickly. And by the time the police arrived, of course, he was no longer there.
Well, was the neighbor able to identify who it was?
The neighbor wasn't, only that they saw the car leaving, and
Okay.
they'd only described the truck. They could not tell who was inside, but she told the neighbor at the time who it was and why they were leaving so abruptly. Due to the high-profile nature that it was Mr. Combs who did this, she was afraid for her life. She was concerned that if she was to come forward and say something, that no one would believe her, because we're talking about 2018 when Mr. Combs was still pretty much at the height of his career, still very much so an icon and influential figure. Mm-hmm. So she's just a young girl from Northern California who's gonna believe that he
Right.
had done something to her like this. So she didn't tell anybody. She did not hire an attorney. All she did was make the police report in the hopes that maybe the police would try to investigate and come up with anything. But she said she kind of felt from the police that they were disregarding what she was saying, even without saying.
In the police report?
I don't think so. Based on what she said, she really felt that the police were trying to bury this and disregard her claims and not really investigate, which is another reason why a lot of victims don't report these things to the police. We have to address the elephant in the room is that we have victims, especially women, who go to the police, who are typically men, who don't actually investigate these things. They victim blame, they victim shame, and women don't feel safe or even protected to even make these claims because they don't think they'll be taken seriously, nor will their claims be investigated.
Now here's where this interview got a little messy, because Ariel revealed that another person reached out to her to represent them in the sale of the Freak Off tape between Diddy and a certain high-profile celebrity. Ariel said she got to see the video herself, and according to her, the other high-profile celebrity is even more high-profile than Diddy. Not only that, but the person seemed very unaware that they were being filmed.
I also was just recently contacted by someone who wanted me to essentially represent them in the sale of one of the Diddy tapes. So, which I declined that because...
Wait a minute, say that again. Say that again, back up. You're saying that there's tapes and they're being shopped?
Yes, there have been people already shopping.
We've heard about the tapes, but
Yes.
the shopping thing is
Yes,
new.
there already have been tapes leaking around Hollywood, being shopped around to individuals in Hollywood. But one particular person contacted me to shop a particular video they were in possession of and to contact the person who was in the video to see if they were interested in purchasing the video before it became a public knowledge.
I've heard this before, so like a catch and kill.
Correct.
Wow, can you, and I guess you can't reveal the person who is on
No,
this
I can't
tape.
explain who the person was, but Mr.
High profile?
Mr. Combs was in the tape, and this other person is, I would venture to say, more high profile than Mr. Combs.
Really? Really? And you've seen it? Or
I've seen stills of the video.
Okay.
So
you can verify
that it exists, that it's real, that the other person in the video is very visible. It's no question if it's that person in the video, and I can tell the video was in nature.
Oh my, all right. So we know that he videotaped a lot of activities at his home, Diddy. And it sounds like there was probably a lot of hidden cameras as well. Is that what is being talked about?
Yes, this was actually in his Atlanta home, at
Okay.
a home he had in Atlanta at one point. And it does seem that the person isn't like looking into the video, so it's, to me, doesn't seem like that person knows they're being videotaped. It doesn't seem like they're active participant in the videotaping, like they're being surreptitiously recorded.